The unsinkable myth, the Titanic tragedy. In April of 1912, the world was captivated by a marvel. The RMS Titanic, an epitome of luxury, speed, and strength. The largest ship ever built. Her decks glittered with gold. Her dining rooms echoed with laughter and fine music. The finest of everything was aboard. First-class cabins furnished with the utmost luxury, second class with all the amenities of a comfortable hotel, and third class with enough room and dignity for working-class passengers. It was a ship that made history before it even set sail. To the people aboard her, the Titanic was the ultimate symbol of human achievement. To the world, she was unsinkable. But behind the luxury, the splendor, and the glamour, there was a dangerous belief. A belief that nothing at all, could sink her. April 14th, 1912. A night like any other, at least so it seemed. The Titanic, having left from Southampton 4 days earlier, sailed across the cold North Atlantic. By 10:30 p.m., the temperature had dropped drastically, the wind picked up, and the water turned cold and unforgiving. Ice warnings came in throughout the night. The radio operator aboard the Titanic, Harold Bride, was busy receiving messages from other ships about the icebergs in the vicinity. The Titanic's captain, Edward J. Smith, continued to push ahead, knowing that the ship's speed was crucial to making it across the ocean in record time. As the night stretched on, there was an eerie calm in the air, heavy, ominous. But despite all the warnings, the Titanic pressed on into the darkness, with icebergs lurking just ahead. It was 11:40 p.m. and no one saw it coming. The lookouts stationed high above on the Titanic's crow's nest spotted the iceberg too late. The ship, cutting through the sea at a speed of 22 knots, couldn't avoid the massive wall of ice. In a horrifying moment, the iceberg scraped along the Titanic's starboard side. The sound, sharp, violent, echoed throughout the ship. A massive gash over 300 feet long tore open the hull below the waterline. Water rushed in at an alarming rate, flooding the lower compartments. For the first few moments, most aboard thought it was nothing more than a small inconvenience, a bump. But in the depths of the ship, water was flooding compartments meant to keep the ship afloat. The Titanic had struck its final blow. Captain Smith, in disbelief, ordered the crew to assess the damage. It was soon confirmed. The Titanic was sinking. The unsinkable ship was no longer unsinkable. But there were deeper issues at hand. The ship's design, while revolutionary, had a flaw. The bulkheads designed to keep water from spreading were not high enough to prevent water from cascading over them into adjacent compartments. As each compartment flooded, the ship listed, the angle of her descent slowly growing more severe. For the passengers, confusion reigned. Some were told the ship was only damaged, not sinking. Others were warned but didn't know the full scale of the disaster. There was no full plan in place for such an event. There were not enough lifeboats to accommodate everyone aboard, a total of 20 lifeboats. The Titanic carried 2,224 people that night. 1,500 people would not survive. Among the Titanic's passengers were some of the wealthiest and most famous people of the time. Men and women whose names would forever be linked to the ship's doomed voyage. John Jacob Astor IV, a millionaire real estate mogul, was aboard with his 19-year-old wife, Madeline. Astor, who was one of the richest men in the world, would perish that night, his legacy forever intertwined with the Titanic disaster. Isidore Straus, co-owner of Macy's department store, was also aboard with his wife, Ida. They had been married for over 40 years. When told to board a lifeboat, Ida refused to leave her husband. choosing to die by his side. Their story would become one of the most poignant examples of love and sacrifice that night. The evacuation was chaotic. Only women and children were to be allowed into the lifeboats. But the pressure of the moment soon led to chaos. Some men snuck onto lifeboats, desperate to save themselves, while others sacrificed their place to protect their families. Many lifeboats were launched partially filled because people didn't fully understand the severity of the situation, while others waited too long, reluctant to abandon ship. Officers barked orders, passengers screamed, and the sound of lifeboats lowering echoed across the sinking Titanic. The ship's crew, overwhelmed and unprepared for such a catastrophe, struggled to maintain order. In these final moments, the sheer scale of the tragedy became apparent. As the Titanic's stern rose higher and higher, the world's greatest ship seemed to reach for the heavens before descending into the abyss. The Titanic broke apart, splitting into two massive sections as it sank into the icy depths. The survivors in the lifeboats watched in horror as the once mighty ship disappeared beneath the waves. Screams filled the air. The freezing water claimed the lives of over 1,500 souls that night. The Titanic, once thought unsinkable, now lay at the bottom of the ocean, a testament to human pride and ambition. The world was stunned. How could this happen? How could the Unsinkable fail? The answer lay not just in the ship's design flaws, but in human error, negligence, and pride. The investigations that followed uncovered a lack of preparedness, an inadequate number of lifeboats, and a crew untrained for such an emergency. In the wake of the Titanic's sinking, new maritime safety laws were enacted. The tragedy changed the world's approach to ocean travel forever. Over 100 years later, the Titanic's legacy endures, not just as a tragedy, but as a powerful reminder of the dangers of hubris, of the consequences of ignoring nature's power. As we remember those lost that night, we honor their memory, their courage, and the lessons they taught us.